So if you want to start and place a new DNA order, first thing is I hope you already have your samples collected and you're sitting down at your computer because we're going to need those barcode numbers. So you're going to get started by going to your registration and you're going to log in. I already am logged in, but this is how you come and you log in and go straight to your dashboard. You're going to go to your My Options page through that little pancake stack at the top. And then you'll see right now it's currently in bright red under DNA. You'll see New Order. And you personally will not have to do this. I do, as I am not a member, so I do not have a herd. But once you click that New Order, it will bring you to this next page here. This is your DNA order form. So this first method I'm going to show y'all is just going to be like a onesie-twosie method. If you have a small DNA order form, it will be very helpful. But one thing at the top, this is your key for everything that you'll see at the bottom on the animals page. And so you'll see the animal itself followed by the dam and the sire. And there'll be an area to enter the barcode, select a sample type, choose which SNP test you want. There's currently 4 main tests for options. And any additional tests you may want if you want coat color or DD and those kind of things with all the genetic conditions and that animal's potential carrier status for those genetic conditions. So for this particular member, they just had a couple of animals they wanted to submit, and they're just going to add those to the DNA order form here. This is Add My Animals, and they wanted to enter this one. You can type the PHN, the name, or the registration number here, and you'll just click it, and it added that animal. So you'll see down below, here's that animal we just added. And then they have one animal that's not in their herd. They already transferred it to the junior's account, but they still want to do the DNA testing for that junior. So we're going to go ahead and add that one as well. See, add non-owned animal. This will also be helpful if you have semen on an animal that you bought and it's not currently in our system and you want to add that there for DNA testing so you can parent verify those progeny. And here it searched the system, it found it. I'm going to say yes, that is the correct animal, and it will also get added to the list. So I'm going to skip this bulk ordering portion right now because we just have a couple animals and we could do the bulk ordering, but I'm going to get to that when we have a lot of animals in our other 2 methods of getting the animals on the order form itself. So here's this first animal. This brown color for each of these means that they all have SNPs and STRs on file. This particular member just actually wanted to clear this DD potential carrier status on the animal, so we're going to order that test. And then we're going to type in our barcode number because we have a sample in front of us. And the sample type is the TSU, the ear punch all flex tag. And we're not ordering a SNP test and we're not ordering any additional tests. And if you ever want to, say you decided, no, this animal's not that important to me, I don't need to order this test, you can always click this red X over here and it'll remove that animal from the order form so you don't have to start over from scratch. And so here's our second animal. This parent is brown and this one is purple, so they both have SNP files. So that's one good thing because they do want the Seek Sire basic SNP test, but they also wanted it parent verified for it to be able to show. If one of these parents was blue, we would need to add the STR microsatellite parentage to that in order for it to verify with both STRs and SNP. And if you need me to go over those differences again between the 2 profile types, I am more than happy to help you. But we're going to go ahead and enter in this barcode for the second sample. This particular sample is a clarified card. It is a hair card, but it's just a particular brand. And we have our Seek Sire test there. And so If one of these for any reason was a sample pull or a retest, you can type that down here in the notes. The sample pull for 795 G4, or you can put retest for 795 G4. That way we know ahead to give those details to the lab. So the sample pull, they would need to go and find it at their lab. They shouldn't be expecting it in the mail. And then the retest for our side, so we don't bill you properly. But that is not one of these, so I'm going to go ahead and delete those, but that is just for your information. So I hope y'all start to use that. And we're going to go ahead and place this order. And look, it's green. It says our order was successful. And so I can go ahead and download that packing sheet. I'm just going to save it here. And then here is our packing sheet that we'll print out and mail it in with those samples. So here you can see it has that one animal for DD and the second animal for the seat sire. Has our information so the lab knows it's a bring this order. And then it has your member ID so we know who's it's associated with. And then the second page has the lab address. And don't forget to put attention IBBA samples so the lab knows to put it with the bring this account. But that's there for your attention in case you need that address and you only do this once a year, so sometimes you forget it. To get your animals on that list. And this is actually using another new feature that I don't believe many of y'all have had the chance to go look at yet. So on your My Options page, you'll also see new right here under Animals where it says Active Animal List, and it's V2 for version 2. So we're going to go ahead and select that. Again, you would not have to input your member ID here. I do, as I am not a member and I do not have a herd. But it's going to bring you to a page that looks kind of like what's coming up next. So here you can see this is a general view. This is your active animal inventory. You have your animal names here, the PHNs, the prefix, registration number, cow, birthday, and then you have weaning, yearling, and ultrasound dates if those have been inputted. Here is columns. You can always remove the columns that you're seeing visually in case there's too much on that screen for you and you want less to look at. And you can also sort by them. So say you want to use not equal to or greater than. Those are all different options for you to choose for your animal. So for a date, I might put the 1st of this year just so I can see my new animals. And there I'll see all my animals that I'm expecting to wean. And so if I want to, I can select all that group and click Order DNA Test. So this is a good feature for you to be able to figure out groups that you're going to have DNA submitted on, because you may want to submit those while you're collecting weaning data on them. So another view that might be helpful to some of you is this is just the general view, kind of like your current animal list, just you're able to group animals easier. But we're going to click the DNA view. So on here, you'll also see your animals, but you'll be able to sort them and see if they're parent verified, sire verified, or dam verified. And you're also able to come in and remove these so you can see which of those don't have a verification on file. Now, I'm just going to remind you, first off, this is just based on what migrated over with the original old portal. So since I'm still doing DNA results manually right now, you won't be able to see anything that you've submitted in 2019 or 2020, but this will still help you so you can see profile types on file, because a lot of times we have questions about, I'm not sure if this has a SNP on file or STR on file. Typically those older animals that have STRs only on file, that hasn't been changed. So you can go in and see which of those. We're going to deselect all these to where it just shows those with STRs only. And there you can see, hey, is this animal still around? Am I still having progeny out of her? I might want to consider upgrading her to a SNP right now. And this will also help you. Sometimes you want to look and see who's a potential carrier for a particular trait. So you can always sort each are the genetic conditions and sort out those that are just potential carriers. That way you can go ahead and say, I might want to pull these and these into the pens next time I'm working animals, just so that we can go ahead and get a DNA sample on them. So I know I showed y'all a perfect order, but I do want to show y'all what it's like to get an imperfect order so you can see some of the error messages. So I'm going to go ahead and try and put all of these animals in this entire herd onto the DNA order form, even though right here, note you can only put 150 animals at a time. So please do not try and put an order larger than that on the order form because not everything will come over. I'm going to go ahead and show y'all that. I want y'all to be able to see that error message and know what to do. So I just try to put roughly 160 animals onto the DNA order page. So I get this, uh-oh, Houston, we have a problem error. And so this kind of troubleshoots you through some of the basic items that could be an issue when you bring those animals over. And it'll also give you this bullet list of who didn't come over, and you can download that file. Sometimes it could be that you have too many animals, or sometimes we might troubleshoot and there might be an additional problem that we're not aware of. So if you did bring roughly a small group of animals over, just please download that file. You can always send it to me and ask questions about why these animals didn't come over in particular. But generally, some of these might just be the issue with it as well. Okay, so I'm going to show you one final method of getting animals on the DNA ordering page. So I'm going to do a new DNA order as I would start anytime. For this particular one, I'm going to switch member accounts just because this member emailed me a file. Again, you wouldn't have to do that. You would automatically be in your herd. And so right below our legend where we added animals individually and we added our non-owned animals, right to our right here, you can see download CSV template and add animals via CSV. So I personally highly recommend for you to download this CSV file. I personally would save it under my documents, and I'm just going to go ahead and label it IBBA DNA order form because this template isn't going to change. It's there for you to use permanently, and those column headers must be identical in order for the system to accept it. So we're not going to change things on you. We want you to be able to do this as smoothly as possible. But the first column is just registration, and the second column is barcode. So if you ever get a DNA order form where you download the barcodes and registration numbers from your herd management software, or you've already typed them in because you're used to doing that with me for the past year and a half, you're already going to have that information here available for you. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to open this file that the member sent me to complete. And I did also ask him for this file so I could give an example with some accurate data. But I'm going to split my pages here so you can see everything. I'm going to go ahead and just copy those registration numbers in that list they sent me and paste them in here along with the barcodes. Okay, so one thing to note that is different about the upload page is that it does not like prefixes on registration numbers, similar to everything else on the Regstr website. So we need to go ahead and get rid of those prefixes in order to upload this file. Instead of doing them one at a time, I'm going to go to the editing tool in Excel, find and select. I'm going to go with replace. And I'm just going to type those prefixes in there and replace with nothing so that it deletes them. So we're going to replace all the UBs and all the R's with nothing so that it deletes them. Get a little Excel mini tutorial in this session. And then on the one, they'll have a few one-offs that aren't very common prefixes, and I don't mind deleting those one at a time because there's not many. And now we can see all the prefixes have been removed from our DNA order form template. I'm going to do File, Save As. And I'm just going to type in the date because I want to keep my template the way it is. And then it has to be a CSV comma delimited file. So we are saving as the correct type there. So save. I'm going to go back to that order form here. And you can either drag and drop the file in, or you can just click and it'll open your file window. I saved it under Documents. Here's that order form we just went through and saved on that template. And I'm going to open that file. You'll see this is your thinking bar. So right now it's loading those animals with the barcodes that we had set up in that template. And whether or not it succeeds or has an error, it will tell you that. So if it succeeds, you get a check mark. And then if there's an error, you'll get the, uh-oh, Houston, we have a problem with the animals listed on it. And sometimes it does take a moment for it. We did do about 96 animals. We got our check mark. So if we scroll down below, we'll see it added all of those animals into our file. So we did have a successful upload. But here we have all of our animals. It already has a barcode, so you don't have to do it one at a time. And that's also helpful if you want to scan them in. You can scan them all into the Excel next to the registration number, and it'll automatically go to each one instead of coming in and clicking the next one. So this is where the bulk ordering options becomes a very handy tool for this particular member. All of these barcodes are blood cards. So we're going to go ahead and select the sample type and submit it to all. And then we're also going to select a SNP test. We're going to do a 30K for everyone. And we're going to say yes to parent verify. So what this feature does is it looks for you if there are STRs only on a parent. And so if this, say this first one here, she's a female, and you know what, I think I need her to be a donor dam, so she must be parent verified. So it's going to look here and see that this parent here in blue only has STRs on file with us. So it's going to automatically add that STR parentage to be completed. You can always do this one at a time, or you can go ahead and select yes on the toolbar for you to use. This is also helpful for any show animals you're going to have. But it's also going to correctly not add it, so you don't have to pay for that additional test if you don't need it. So this one, they both have SNP profiles here in purple, so it didn't add that STR testing. But I can always add it myself if I want STRs. Another thing this member wanted to do, these are your genetic conditions here. And here is the filtering settings. So they wanted to test anything that was a potential carrier. So I'm going to go ahead and select that feature. And it doesn't appear that they have many left in their herd. My apologies for the scrolling. I'm going to a yellow oranges feature. But if there is a yellow or orange one, it will go ahead and automatically select it for us. This would be for any of the genetic conditions. So here we have OH and OH. They're both PCs, so it went ahead and selected them. I'm going to scroll back up here to the top just so I can show y'all some additional features for the bulk ordering. And one other thing they wanted tested was BVDV on all the animals. So we can go there and select it, and it'll add it to all the animals' additional testing features. And if you have a one-off test, like you want to get 101D9 tested for coat color, you can add that under their additional testing options. So then I know I have all my testing selected. I did the bulk ordering. It applied it to the correct animals. So right now I'm pretty well done with this order form. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll way down to the bottom. And I don't have any order notes to place for this large order, but I'm going to go ahead and place and submit my order. And this order was successful. Again, you will not see the screen as you are a member and you have a herd that it will automatically go to. But say I have these samples still sitting on my desk. I want to go ahead and submit them. I'm not quite sure if I created an order form, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this one cleared of DDPC. Type in that barcode for that sample that's still on my desk. It is a TSU, and we're not getting a snip test because it already has one on file. This one's a clarified card, and we do want to seek sire test so that we can get it parent verified. So I basically recreated that first original order that we did earlier. But now I'm going to go ahead and try and place the order. And it's going to give me an error notice that this animal has already been submitted and this barcode has already been used. So why are you trying to create a duplicate order, basically? And so it will not let me proceed unless I change these barcodes and the testing. So that's telling me that I can go here to another new feature here on your My Options page. You'll be able to see order history. And so instead of retyping something because you're unsure if you submitted the DNA order already, you can come here. Again, you will not see the screen, but it will give you your order history of any DNA order that you have placed in Regstr. So here you can see that you created an order today, and you can re-download that packing list. So in case you also spill water on it, lose it, your printer gave you an error, you can always re-download it and print it out later. So we can already see that, oh, I did submit those 2 animals for testing. So it is already available for me and I don't need to do that order again.